as the stream title says, yes. This is a take. It's definitely a take. And I didn't know that it existed until. So yeah, following up on my conversation with Lyndon Hall, the writer from Geeks and Gamers Friday. Apparently, Jeremy Griggs, who is the Grand Wizard of Geeks and Gamers, really took issue with what I had to say, a very specific, like little tiny bit of what I had to say in that 40-minute discussion. Now, if you saw that discussion, you know that I said a lot of things about Geeks and Gamers and made a lot of claims that that Lyndon was not able to respond to, or that he just represented himself and Geeks and Gamers so poorly that if I was Jeremy, I'd be mad too. Like, I can't believe my employee did this to me. And of course, I say employee, but come to find out, he's a volunteer.
Is that true?
That's what someone told me. Okay.
Allegedly, then.
Allegedly, and allegedly, and I'll say that as a quantifier, because maybe it's not true. But Lyndon didn't back up his points like someone who has financial investment in what he has to say. That's for sure. So yeah, Jeremy's response, I actually have, let's see, a little bit of that somewhere here.
Is this the one where he goes into a Trump rant randomly out of nowhere?
There was one specific moment where he apparently
talking about Trump. Yeah, I saw it in Max's. I think if this is the one I'm thinking about, unless he made another one.
That's what I heard, but I guess I didn't. I thought I prepared really well for this stream, and now I can't find that damn thing that I had it somewhere. Give me a second.
I could do my impression of him.
Yeah, I mean, just entertain the folks for a minute.
Sure. Hello, everyone. This is Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. Now, Eternals bombed. Shang-Chi bombed. Is that enough for the woke left? Not at all. So here, what we have here is a liberal. This forced adversity, and he quotes it for some reason. I don't know. He just put forced adversity. I'm no better than you. I'm no better than me. I'm just a normal guy trying to fix the problem that I see with woke Hollywood, woke comics, and woke gaming industry, woke schools, woke, what else? Everything's woke. I'm just trying to fix this. And Dane, he comes at me and he says that I shit on everything woke. And he used the example of Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Eternals, Shang-Chi, and little did they know that upon seeing Black Panther, I actually gave it a good review. Now, granted, later on, when it got nominated for Oscars, I started going, by way of all the other grifters. But my first review, Dane, my very, very first review, I said it was pretty good. And that there was no woke politics. And, this is what's wrong with the left. And this is why they're eating each other. Because they just can't get their facts straight. And, that's why I only listen to Trump. I think around here it went something like that. Like he starts going into Trump. I trust Trump more than anyone in Hollywood. That was my favorite quote, by the way. I trust Trump more than anyone in Hollywood. And that includes Keanu. And that includes Gina. Yes, Gina, you are a queen, but you're still part of the Hollywood elite. For now. Now, you're calling them out, and that gets you places. That gets you in Ben Shapiro's studio. Which is great.
Man, that's beautiful. It's fantastic. Maybe one day in the Geeks and Gamers movie, you will be cast as Jeremy. That'd be great. I'll vouch for you. Let's see.
I would love to debate Jeremy as Jeremy.
Oh, look, another victim of cancel culture. My toast fell jelly side down. those liberals, the woke left.
Twitter
All
was
right.
a mistake.
Okay, so yeah, Jeremy says here, as you can see, I'm a lying piece of shit, and I tried doing some research. He also apparently,
Also,
hold on, Jeremy says fuck me and my pronouns, so I've tried to commit to not using pronouns in regards to Jeremy because Jeremy doesn't like pronouns. So sorry, Jeremy. Yeah, I don't know. I actually took to start calling Jeremy Sandy because Sandy seems to have gotten some sand in Sandy's vagina.
fuck you and your pronouns. Without any context, that's a really funny statement. It's like, no.
It just
Fuck
shows how
you English teachers. I am not using pronouns.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what is the deal? What's the deal with pronouns? It's if you have to resort to that, like basically if someone's like, oh, pronouns in bio, opinion discarded, it's like, well, then you don't really have anything to say to what I said because you're just grasping at straws.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the issue that Jeremy Sandy took with me is that Jeremy Sandy actually liked Black Panther. And you know what? And this is a good example, a good lesson on my for me, and hopefully you guys can take this lesson too. When I started hearing that, when people started commenting and saying Jeremy actually liked Black Panther, so you're wrong there, I was like, shit, man, that's what I get for speaking out of without knowing for sure. Because I watched the discussion, I wasn't sitting there listing facts. I was in a lot of cases kind of talking generally about the anti-SJW movement and how they didn't like this, they didn't like this, they didn't like this. So Jeremy ignored that context and zeroed in on that. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, I guess I got everything else right in that discussion except when I mentioned Black Panther, because and then I look up and see that Jeremy had said some positive things about it after the movie came out, and I was like, man, do I have egg on my face? I hate being wrong, I really do. I get embarrassed. I get, like my fucking confidence, drops a couple of levels whenever I feel like I've been really wrong about something. So, I was sitting for a couple of days. I'm thinking, I got to do better. Dane, you got to do better than that. You can't just say a bunch of things and hope that they're right. Maybe I was right about 99.9% of it, but I don't like being wrong that 0.1%. And then Jeremy shared that meme, right? And I start, at first I was like, well, this is kind of silly. Okay, let's look at this. Jeremy really liked Black Panther. And then this meme, Black Panther is alt-right. That's an interesting take.
Really?
Okay. And then, some of this at a superficial level kind of makes sense just at a glance. Are they anti-immigration? Well, yeah, they were. Wakanda did not want, anybody coming from outside of Wakanda. They're isolationists. That's true. Pro-wall, I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but I mean, yeah, they have a dome, a defense dome that's, and then strict trade restrictions. That's true. They don't let their vibranium just go to anybody. I don't, anti-diversity. That's definitely not true. So the thing is that as per usual, conservatives don't know what fucking words mean. The context of the film and the context of Wakanda specifically is that they have been hidden for centuries because they have this, invaluable resource that, back in the day, thousands, hundreds, thousands, I don't know what the time frame is, but like a long time ago, people would come in and try and, like they do and still do in Africa, and like colonialists did in Africa, for centuries, to a much greater extent, where, they invade some place, say, well, this is mine now. These resources are mine. Your people are mine. This land is mine. And Wakanda is written intentionally, as in the comics and the film, as like a fantasy nation of like, well, what would happen if a nation wasn't subjected to that?
Yeah, wasn't touched by outsiders.
Wasn't touched. They managed to remain completely independent and grow on their own accord, and develop their own technology and their own culture and everything. And that's why Wakanda is such a beautiful place. And it's got a rich culture, even as a fictional culture, it's a rich culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of this is from an Americanized perspective. Now, are they okay? Let's give benefit of the doubt that all of this is accurate, even though I just explained that these words don't actually mean the same thing in different cultural contexts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's just give him benefit of I'm sorry, used a pronoun. Let's give Sandy benefit of the doubt that this is all that, yes, okay, this is accurate. It was only accurate in the film up until the point when T'Challa died and met his ancestors and talked to his father. That's the moment when this becomes moot. Because T'Challa clearly denounces all of this shit.
Yep.
He tells him, "You were wrong." He says those exact words, "You were wrong." And then the rest of the film is T'Challa fighting for the ability to, well, first, reclaim his throne, and then and then at the end, he literally goes to the United Nations and is like, "Hey, we've been wrong. It's time to open up our borders. It's time to, be part of the global community." So maybe Sandy only watched up until that point and fell asleep, or left the movie theater thinking, "Well, this is the best movie ever because it confirms all my biases because I don't know what fucking words mean." Maybe that's what happened, or, and this is probably more likely, Sandy is being dishonest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, no, I did not get anything wrong. And yeah, it's yeah, you can say you liked the movie in that very limited sense. I guess I was wrong for listing it among a handful of other ones. But also leading up to the movie, I called Jeremy Sandy because Sandy got sand in Jeremy's vagina. Let's see, 10 pounds. I know what's on Hunter Biden's laptop. Plans for new mech called Wokosaurus Rex. Will turn children trans with laser beams and shoot fake mail-in ballot ninja stars out its butt. Oh man, that's very well worth 10 pounds, which, as everybody knows, is about 30 cents in American dollars.
Hey, he got his facts wrong too, because Dark Knight wasn't even nominated, buddy. So I guess if we're going by technicalities.
The Oppression Olympics. Okay. I don't care if you say you liked it. Never mind the fact that we just established you were being disingenuous, or, this is always the question in my mind. As much as I study these guys and conservatism in general, there's always this paradoxical question that I don't know anybody can ever really answer. Is it dishonest or stupid? You know what I mean? Like, are they being dishonest or are they just stupid? I don't know. Maybe it's a big mix of both. Mm-hmm. But yeah, even if you say you liked it, even if you were disingenuous, even if he was being honest about saying he liked it on its own merits, which he didn't, the fact that you made content about it and calling it the Oppression Olympics, that's bigoted shit, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And by the way, I first, whenever I thought that Jeremy was trying to refute the allegations of being a bigot that I made in my discussion with Lyndon, apparently not. Apparently the only thing that Jeremy was focused on was just this one little thing, and turning that into, a chance to rant about, and misrepresent a movie. Yeah. So,
yeah, there's so many layers. There's so many layers of how wrong he is, because if we get past that of like, oh, this movie did not deserve to get nominated, how much you want to make a bet he has not seen all the nominated movies? Like, probably not even half. Not even, you've probably seen maybe one or two, but he has not seen the nominated movies, or at least he doesn't talk about them. So I don't know how he thinks Black Panther doesn't deserve if he hasn't seen the other ones. You don't know, like, right? Like, Black Panther was like a huge cultural like movie. Like, it was huge. It was like huge. It was more than just like a movie, right? And it got nominated, I think, because of that impact as well. Same thing happened with 2009 Avatar, right? Movie, it's not about like, oh, what a great story, what an amazing, that was amazing, everything else. It's about the impact it had, and you have to, they almost nominate that impact within itself, right? And there's still great things in Black Panther, right? But I think the nomination itself was about what the movie did to the cinemas and to cinema in general, right? And I think that's equally valid and important to recognize.
Sorry, Tough Commander says, if pronouns bother Jeremy so much, wait until Jeremy hears about verbs and adjectives.
Yeah,
it's really going to blow Jeremy's mind. It really is.
Don't even get started on nouns.
Yeah, I want everybody to recognize and take note of the fact that I am respecting Jeremy by not using pronouns to describe Jeremy, because Jeremy doesn't like pronouns. I just want everybody to know that. I am a fair person. I'm a compassionate person, and I will meet you, where you want me to meet you. When it comes to your identity, if you don't value pronouns as part of your identity, I will not use them. Okay. And just like, I don't need to put he, him here on my name, but I do it because in solidarity with people who do make pronouns a part of, that they want you to know that these are the pronouns. It's really not a big deal. And I think that anybody that makes a big deal out of it is kind of a pussy. Yeah, that's just me. All right. So here's an article. Black Panther and the far right. Researcher Becca Lewis and research analyst Kinjal Dave wrote this. This is I guess short. Yeah, right after Black Panther came out. It came out, I think, in February of 2018. Following the release of superhero movie Black Panther, white nationalists and other far-right online communities reacted to its success and the important moment for Black representation in Hollywood. Below, we analyze these reactions and what they reveal about the panic and ideological fragility that underscore the far-right movement. And that term right there, that description is so spot on. Ideological fragility. Because, it's not like, if you have to be dishonest about what you believe, then, maybe you're not too confident in what you believe. Or maybe on some level, that it's unethical and amoral. Let's see. Mainstream media outlets, the movie was a critical success, 97% fresh, Rotten Tomatoes. Mainstream media hailed the movie as an important cultural moment. First Black Marvel superhero since Blade in 1998. I would actually say that it's the first Black Marvel superhero. I know that people will take contention with that and say that, well, Blade was first. Blade isn't really a superhero in the sense that, like, a superhero, dedicates themselves to fighting like the greater good for everyone. And it's like Blade is kind of on I wouldn't call him an anti-hero. He's a vampire hunter. You know what I mean? In more recent Avengers comics, he's been made an Avenger, and he's definitely become more of a superhero in that sense. He's doing superhero shit with the Avengers. But for the most part, Blade, at least in that movie anyway, he was killing vampires. And that's definitely a heroic thing to do in its own regard. But like, he wasn't going around, stopping, rapes and or anything like that. He's not helping anybody else except by killing vampires, which is a valuable thing to do. You know what I mean? If you run into a vampire, kill it. For sure.
I disagree, Dan. I think he is a superhero because he does save people from vampires and he has superpowers.
All right.
Superhero, right?
That's fair. I'll give you that. Anyway,
debate.
Yeah. All right. We're canceling the topic, and it's me and Perper debating.
We're going at it.
Yeah. So let's see. Across the U.S., schools, churches, individuals raised money for hundreds of kids to see the movie. I remember that being a point of contention by grifters on the right. They were like making fun of it and saying, and the same thing with Captain Marvel.
What are you making fun of? Like, what? Raise money for hundreds of kids? Like, these kids, I assume they're not probably in the best economical state. It's like they're raising money for kids that,
right?
Well,
the reason they were taking issue with it, from what I recall, there was things said, and I'm not going to say who said it because I don't remember and I don't want to be wrong. Yeah. But I know I saw people saying that it's because you know, they're doing that because they know they can't fill seats if they don't. And,
Wow.
you know, yeah, things like that. And it's like, dude,
they hadn't perfected the Disney bought seats
yeah,
line yet.
they were still refining that.
Yeah.
Teachers use the film to build curricula for lessons on colonialism and racism, and that's, you know, honestly, I learned not just from the movie, but like the movie sparked my curiosity to learn more about the history of colonialism in Africa, and you know, there's a lot to learn, and I think that everybody should learn about that because it highlights how evil white people are. No, I'm kidding. That's not what it highlights. It highlights the historical atrocities of colonialism, you know, and white people aren't the only people that have done colonialism. It's just usually the ones that do it. And there's just you know, still dealing with the effects of colonialism today. Yeah, the mainstream media covered some of the online far right's more predictable efforts to coordinate negative press and the harassment of fans. For example, outlets covered the far right's downvoting campaign. Well, that sounds familiar. Wow. Now, hold on. I'm not saying Jeremy did this. Just to clarify, I'm just talking about the general alt-right, which Jeremy claims that Jeremy is a part of by admission of Jeremy's tweet. Twitter trolls post fake claims of racially motivated assaults at Black Panther showings. Jesus.
Really?
And apparently one of them was a 2013 photo from Serbia, and the model has makeup on, and that was used. There's James Gunn giving them what for.
That reminds me of, remember when someone said that they beat up a Trump supporter and they used like an image from the Evil Dead show, like an actor from the Evil Dead show?
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Neither of them significantly altered coverage of the movie. Simultaneously, the alternative far-right media has developed a more insidious set of responses. Nearly every prominent right-wing YouTuber has made some attempt to engage with Black Panther in their videos. These videos are most likely attempting to attract new audiences, perhaps people searching for YouTube content discussing the movie without prior political considerations. So yeah, in other words, they, as I've said before, they make content and they get it out quick, right? Because they can just crank it out. They don't have to check their facts. They can just emotionally dump into the video and sound real confident, and that will convince people that don't know any better and are susceptible to that type of thing that what they're saying is true and valid and accurate. Let's see. Popular right-wing influencers have long used pop culture phenomena as a discussion topic for similar purposes. For instance, the image below is from a Richard Spencer video in which he criticized the most recent Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi. Punch, 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 punch. All right.
How Captain America of you?
Yeah. As more and more far-right influencers have engaged with Black Panther, two types of responses have emerged that together minimize and subvert the themes of the movie. Now let's go over those words again. Minimized and subverted the themes of the movie, because that is the goal. That is the goal of Jeremy's meme, Jeremy's tweet. That's the goal of Jeremy saying that Jeremy liked Black Panther as a movie, to co-opt what the movie was actually about, because you can't stop the movie from being $1 billion fucking success. It's, you know, there's nothing Jeremy can do about that. Yeah. But Jeremy and other people like Jeremy can do these memes and this bullshit checklist that is very, very reductive about the themes in the film, and even just ignores flat out the resolution of the film, which is
it ignores the arc. And I've noticed a lot of conservatives do that. Like, ask any conservative what Fight Club is about and how it ends, right? And they'll just stop halfway, like they never got to the ending, right?
It's about fighting and how women ruin everything.
Yeah. How women ruin everything. The media is manipulating you. We don't need anything. We're men. Blah blah blah. And it's like, guys, you know, he fixed his problem. You know, a girl fixes problems. It's exactly like Garden State. You guys know that, right? It's Garden State.
What's that meme from that show, Dark Place or whatever it's called? It's like, I know writers who use subtext or something like that. It's for pussies or something. Yeah, they don't understand subtext, and you know, there's not even a lot of subtext in Black Panther. It's actually just the text of the film is anti-colonialism. You got Shuri straight up calling what's his name, colonizer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it co-opts together minimize. Oh yeah, the first misrepresents the film as anti-white propaganda. That's the easiest one that they can do, right? That's the most obvious thing they can do, and that definitely heard a lot of that. People saying, "Well, it's anti-white because they don't want white people, and because they're, you know," so like that's the lazy, cheap, and easy way to. I'm gonna coin a term here: bigotize the film.
TM.
Yeah, TM. Registered trademark, all rights deserved. Yeah,
they don't understand. They just don't understand. Like even Jeremy, when he was like saying, actually, the white guy should not have been in Black Panther. That's how, like, you know, not racist I am, right? But it's like actually the white guy needed to be in the movie. You needed the outsider to show the audience how it works, right? You have the outsider going into the world that we're being introduced to, right? So he didn't even get that right. He can't get it right, even when he's trying.
Yep. So that's the clear and obvious way. I'm sure like the quartering, you know, he's pretty fucking low effort for as far as those guys go.
Yeah, he won't even go to the bathroom. He'll pee in the fucking drain. Hell yeah, he's low effort.
I'm sure if we looked at his channel, we'd find content that's basically the first example here, where it's talking about how it's anti-white. You know, maybe I'm wrong, just to put that qualifier out there, but I'm willing to bet that that's the angle he took with it. Let's see. Yeah, the other co-ops the film's narrative to praise it as a depiction of ethno-nationalism in action. The American alt-right is preoccupied with debates about how to bring about the white ethno-state. For instance, Spencer has led multiple YouTube forums on peaceful ethnic cleansing through self-deportation. These words don't make sense. These are oxymorons. Peaceful ethnic cleansing is not a thing that exists.
You gotta ask him to elaborate on that one. How does that look? What does that look like? It's like
it's just, you know, I mean, the same way that Richard Spencer is just a Nazi, but he's kind of dressed up nice and he wears wingtips and a tie and stuff. It's just the same thing, but on the language level. It's cleaning up the language and trying to pass it off to people that don't know any better.
It's very lazy. He just added peaceful.
Yeah, and then self-deportation. What the fuck does that mean? Like, making it seem like it's voluntary. You know, like, hey, are you gonna self-deport? Because if not, we're gonna have some problems here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's the exactly. Killmonger was the ethno-nationalist.
Oh yeah, and he was the villain. Yeah, they don't understand movies. They don't understand what they're looking at. They don't understand the themes being conveyed. The visual.
Well, do they? That goes back to that question. Do they not understand it, or are they dishonest? Stupid or dishonest? I don't know. It's puzzling, right? It's hard. You want to come down on one side or the other.
Especially when they refuse to engage with us. That's what makes it difficult. Because I think you could sort of figure it out. Like that Lyndon guy, I think, as you said, he got thrown back a little bit and was actually starting to think about these things for the first time. So he wasn't being dishonest. And at the same time, I don't think he was anything malice. Maybe it's just a type of ignorance as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get a sense of malice or even intentional dishonesty from Lyndon. But the thing is, you don't have to intentionally be dishonest. Like, you can be dishonest with yourself. You can, you know what I mean? It's people do it all the time. I'm sure I do it in certain ways. I really, really, like I was telling Mark Brooks the other night, I've been practicing mindfulness for a few years now, and I feel like that helps me cut through a lot of that type of stuff, because it really makes you confront your thoughts and like process your feelings about things and challenge yourself on a regular basis. And it's hard, you know what I mean? And some days I don't want to do it, you know, but like, I think we have a responsibility as humans who our brains are not perfect. Like our brains don't just, every thought we have isn't the correct thought. Every feeling we have isn't valid sometimes. You know what I mean? As messed up as that is to say, I mean, feelings are always valid, but the actions we take based on feelings can be a whole different animal.
Yeah, how we react
Um,
to them. Yeah,
so
for sure.
the far right's interpretations are based on the false underlying premise that modern racial oppression doesn't exist. Western colonization since the late 19th century has enslaved Africans and exploited the subcontinent through resource extraction and global financial institutions' debt schemes. I just pronounced the B in debt. That's weird. I don't think I've ever
Deb,
done that before. Debt.
Deb,
Debt.
Deb, 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 Deb.
Black Americans experience a continuation of this colonial logic, a dehumanization and exploitation of labor in order to support American industrialization. Black Panther addresses some of the historical and material conditions that lead to modern day resource extraction and allocation, while also illustrating how respectability politics in the US can undermine efforts to build global solidarity across the African diaspora. For Black Americans, identity based movements are partially grounded in calls for resources and rights afforded to everyone by the government because structural racism affects both the distribution of rights and resources as well as access to power. And I feel like at this point, after like last year, the BLM protests, if you're paying attention at all, and you've probably kind of figured this out to some degree, you've probably kind of see where this is coming from, at least on an intuitive level, even if like you're not fully informed on the all of the history of it, right, and the specific politics of this stuff. It's pretty easy to see. I feel like maybe I'm mistaken there, but I feel like if you pay attention even a little bit, you can see that this is accurate as to, you look at Black communities. I'll give you a personal anecdote. The town I grew up in the South, deep South, was pretty white, like extremely white. There was like one Black family. I went through school with a Black kid who was about my age. And then I think he had an older brother that was a couple years older than him, but that was the Black family in my school district. Okay. But that doesn't mean there was no Black people in my home region. It was just a town over. There was a lot of Black people. And, I was taught as a kid not to go over there, especially at night. And I, grew up thinking that Black people were just inherently dangerous and that they're over there in their little town, and it's probably best that they're over there and that they're not mingling with us. You know what I mean? Like that's basically how I was taught. And then as I grew older and I started to understand things a little better, and because you drive through that town, and it's pretty dilapidated. There's not any real infrastructure. That the roads are complete shit. The buildings are falling apart. The homes are shit, and it's easy to look at that as an uninformed person and go, man, these Black people don't know how to live, right? They can't even take care of themselves. And that's where these narratives come from of like, well, it's not the race, it's their culture. It's their culture. That's the kind of stuff that Chuds love to say as a defense against being racist. And on a superficial level at a glance, that seems like it might make some sense. But then I got older and I started looking into things and I realized, oh, this town that all these Black people live in, like the majority, it's a lot of Black people and also Hispanic people. But I'm talking, the minority in that town was white. And then you look at who the city council and the mayor is and stuff, all white people. And, you look into the politics and the budgets of that town and you look into their priorities. And you realize that, oh, they're not putting money into the same things that the mayor and the city council of my town would put into. You know what I mean? They're not fixing the roads. They're not, building infrastructure or trying to bring new jobs into the town or anything like that. And over time, that ends up with a little area that's dilapidated and people are poor, a lot of poverty. You know what I mean? It's systemic racism. Does that, it's and it's pretty insidious because unless somebody's willing to look into that stuff, look beyond the surface level, I can see how you might think that that's, well, their culture just, they don't, they don't take care of their roads and stuff like that. Well, it's like, no, they don't have access to power. Despite the fact that this town is majority people of color, the people that win elections are white. And that's not okay, because that means that they're not getting accurate representation. And that means that, you know, the people in power, even if they're not outright bigots, they just don't care as much as someone from that community, if they were in that position of power, would care. So yeah, that's a little personal anecdote to support that. And that, by the way, that happens all over the country, especially in the South, but all over the country. Similar thing in Detroit. You know, the conservatives love to point to Detroit as being, well, this is what happens when, you know, and it's like, well, this is what happens when, you know, corruption, mostly by white people in power, they don't take care of things. They don't take care of their communities. And black people are still victims to that. People of color in general. I don't want to just say black people as if they're the only ones, but yeah. All right. Anti-white propaganda or ethno-nationalist utopia? Which one is Wakanda? Among the more mainstream conservative pundits, those such as Tucker Carlson on Fox News and Ben Shapiro argued that the film promoted radical identity politics. Both also seized the opportunity to sensationalize the politics of viewership around the film, particularly targeting a white woman who posted a now deleted tweet saying she didn't want to attend the movie on opening weekend out of respect for black audiences. Yeah, and that's, yeah, I mean, it's weird. Let's just say that actually happened the way that they present it. Maybe there, you know, I'm certain there's some white woman that's like, well, I don't want to go see this movie for black people. Well, that's a little bit of internalized racism on her part. Maybe she's not a bigot in the sense that, like, she's going to be hateful, but, you know, like, don't feel guilty about going to see a movie. Support the movie.
Yeah.
You know, but this also brings to light another thing that conservatives love to do, is cherry picking anecdotal examples to prove their points. On Twitter especially. Yeah, I mean, you look at Richard Meyer, your boy Zach, his entire YouTube channel is like, let me scour for a tweet from someone with 30 followers and it's got no likes or one retweet that says something really absurd, and I'm going to blow that out of proportion and say, this is what all SJWs are saying. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, but yeah, it's one anecdotal example. They don't engage with data. They don't engage with research or studies or systemic analysis, material analysis. They don't engage with words. And my camera froze when I looked pretty silly. So I'm just gonna.
I think you look badass as hell.
I'm gonna look at that for a minute and admire myself until it comes back. Look like somebody Photoshop a dick in there, please.
Oh.
Anyway,
I'm sure Ethan's on it right now.
Yeah. I mean, what is he gonna do? Work on Cyberfrog? No.
No. If you have a picture like that running around the internet, no.
Anyway, so they both semi-facetiously claimed that this was bringing back segregated movie theaters. Oh man, it's like they really just they're so hyperbolic and blow things way out of proportion. And it brings us back to that question: dishonest or stupid? You know, and it's both. It's probably both. It's
a little bit of both, yeah.
The sensitivity police.
Oh, this is Shapiro, so I got to do that.
The sensitivity police have gone so far that we now have to fully segregated theaters to make sure that black people are not offended by the presence of white people.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs down. How'd I do?
Thumbs up. A little faster, but that was your first read. But other than that, it was really good.
Those who attempted to subvert the film's message started hashtags such as Wakanda isn't real and open borders for Wakanda. Oh my God. The latter hashtag riffs on the far right. Open
Wakanda
borders for
isn't
Israel.
real. Wakanda isn't real. That's funny. Santa Claus isn't real. Hashtag.
All right, here's the main thing that we're looking for here. And look what meme it's got. Oh my God. Alternatively, a growing excitement for the film has been ironically adopted by many in the far right. The co-optation of Black Panther's themes of racial solidarity have congealed into the meme, Black Panther is alt-right. First uploaded by an anonymous user to Imager, the MAGA-themed meme has been widely shared across social media and is itself a popular debate topic for YouTube commentators of many political stripes. While the creator of the image is still unknown, the meme dates back to June 2017, long before the movie was actually released. The meme illustrates the ideas behind the Black Panther is alt-right meme. The far right claims the movie is anti-immigration, pro-wall, and anti-diversity. Yep. Make Wakanda greater again. It took me a minute to figure out what that meant when I was first looking. I'm like, what? Oh, I get it now. I get it. As if it's funny. YouTuber Black Pigeon Speaks, who, from what I understand, is kind of a dipshit. Also helped popularize the connection between Black Panther and ethno-nationalism. He's a Canadian expatriate who currently resides in Japan and frequently produces ethno-nationalist content. So he's a fucking weeb.
Yeah.
In June 2017, he posted a video titled Black Panther, a hero the alt-right deserves. He stated the alt-right should not only consider supporting the Black Panther movie, they should meme it all over social media and attend screenings en masse, proudly showing their solidarity with him and his values. If not only for the giggle factor, it would definitely confuse, disorient, and discombobulate those on the far left. Nobody's confused, I don't think. Like,
Yeah.
They really overestimate their ability to, play mind games, I think.
Yeah.
Like, this will
40
really
40 chess is what they call it, right?
Yeah.
they'll really get confused about this one.
They're gonna lose their minds.
Mom, make me a hot pocket. I'm
Mhm.
confusing the libs.
With their own movie from Disney.
They really showed us, man. They made, they helped Black Panther be $1 billion movie and become a cultural phenomenon, and gave lots of little Black kids and Black people all over, a icon that they could aspire to, and made Chadwick Boseman, who had a pretty short film career before he passed, but he's a legend, now. So yeah, thanks, alt-right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You could tell that they're so full of shit because the minute that Black Panther got nominated, everything changed. It was like, okay, we can't meme that hard anymore. This is,
Yeah, I mean,
I wonder if they were going for it.
Is there a phrase called, like, is there such a thing as memeing yourself in the foot?
Yeah.
Is that I'm gonna coin that too.
Yeah, or I think the phrase something like meme too close to the sun or something like that.
Meme too close to the sun. That's pretty good. Yeah. All right. That's better than mine. All right. I
stole it. I stole it. Yours was an original.
This talks about how this is by far not the first time that they've tried to co-opt ideas from the Black community and memes from the Black community that they use, for solidarity and for, educating other people. And they'll take that, which is kind of fucked up, but makes sense when you think about it's just doing what white people have historically done to Black people. You look at, jazz and blues and rock and roll. They started as Black music, but who were the people that got them famous in most cases? Like Elvis Presley, he didn't create rock and roll. He just, he grew up around Black people singing it and said, oh, I'm going to do that too. And then, because he's white and they were willing to put him on TV when they weren't willing to put Black people on TV, he became Elvis.
Yeah.
The king of rock and roll, even though, he stole that from Black people. So, yeah. Same thing. Beyond direct reactions to the movie itself, many in the far right have used it as an opportunity to adapt and grow mimetic anti-Black stereotypes. Kangs and Wakandans are now being used interchangeably in white nationalist spaces. So yeah, there we go. Jeremy Griggs is full of shit and stupid. I don't know what the balance is with this take. In particular with Jeremy, I don't know whether Jeremy is more stupid or dishonest, or maybe it's a 50-50 split. I don't really know. All I know is that Jeremy got very, very upset on stream the other night after my discussion with Lyndon. And oh yeah, speaking of which,
You got Jeremy waiting. Jeremy, are you here? Oh,
No, where's it at? Shit.
this is also an open invitation for Jeremy or any one of his Geeks and Gamers employees or volunteers. Feel free to come by and chat.
Yeah, Perp wants to talk with you guys. So I actually sent Jeremy a DM on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I was feeling a little bit too cocky, but hey, Jeremy, you seem
Oh.
really upset the other night. I wanted to offer you a chance to have a conversation on my channel where you're in control of your emotions like a big boy. Interested? Jeremy
We'll go
is
on
not.
his channel too.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I try to play by their rules. You know what I mean? Like I try to co-opt their rules, ironically, in the sense that like it doesn't benefit me to go on Jeremy's channel where Jeremy has thousands and thousands of viewers at once, and they're going to be, you know, and they probably would. Jeremy would have other guests on. I imagine this is the same tactic Van Skyver does. You know, they like to get you on their turf so that they can use everything except facts against you.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of that. I would totally go down their turf. I could debate 4 people, 5 people. It's all good. I am down for that.
Oh, you ready to take on 4 or 5 people at once?
Ooh. At once.
Woo!
Sam Cedar, what a nightmare!
What a nightmare! Yeah, I got this comment. I thought it was pretty cute. I hope that Geeks and Gamers sues you for liable.
Liable. Is that before or after they sue Zack Snyder?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would think that you'd get a lot more out of Snyder, but you know, maybe they don't have a case because what Snyder said was pretty obviously true. Yeah, and I'd be curious what I would be sued for.
He liked Black Panther, Your Honor. He liked it.
Yep. You
All
know,
of America liked him.
There's several things to address with this. First of all, it's pretty difficult to win a libel case. Well, no, first and foremost, he meant libel, not liable. Those are 2 different things. They don't even mean the same thing. Libel is L-I-B-E-L. That means to, you know, intentionally and knowingly misrepresent or lie about a figure to like smear them or whatever. Yeah, and I didn't do that. I think it's pretty clear, especially since I've gone back and revised my statement. And especially since it's pretty clear in context of the conversation with Lyndon that I wasn't only talking about Jeremy. I was asking Lyndon to answer for the general right-wing tactic of anytime something that comes out that's not focused on a straight white dude is going to be, they're going to make content out of it and milk the algorithm and stuff. That's what I was asking about. I know Jeremy probably doesn't have the attention span much better than a goldfish. And, you know, well, whatever.